Hey friends, hey, it's your favorite host, LaDonna PM here. Listen, I know you're busy enjoying my podcast, The Owner's Manual, but have you ever wanted to have your own podcast? You heard me right. You can do this too. Just like I mentioned in episode 2 of The Owner's Manual, shameless plug, the world needs your voice of inspiration and genius. You can have your very own podcast using Anchor, and it's so easy. You don't need any special equipment. Although that's nice, you can do it right from your sofa and your cell phone. No joke. It costs $0. Yep, you heard me right. It's free $99. And all the tools that you need to customize your podcast are at your fingertips. Anchor even distributes your podcast for you, so you can be heard on multiple platforms like Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and so much more. And you can easily monetize your podcast. So all you have to do is download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM. Hey, I can't wait to listen in. Thank you for joining me for another episode on the Owner's Manual podcast. I am your host, LaDonna PM, aka Miss Purpose Pusher, and the OWN podcast is the #1 destination for us busybodies who want positive perspectives and inspiration to create moments of purposeful pause in our lives. Previously on the Owner's Manual podcast. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Owner's Manual podcast. I am your host, LaDonna PM. And previously on the Owner's Manual podcast, if you listened to episode number 10, we talked all about taking the leap. That's right. I created my own acronym for LEAP: Learn, Explore, Accept, and Purpose. So if you need some help learning how to take the leap, I invite you to listen to that episode, which was our 10th episode, which we created a huge celebration around getting to 10 weeks of the Owner's Manual podcast. I took you through a journey from episode number 1 all the way to episode number 9, where we recapped everything that we've learned these past 10 weeks. And can I say that I really appreciate you for rocking with me all this time and gaining new insights on positive awareness and self-discovery. It has been an honor for me to share with you these weeks and showing up for you and myself each week. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into episode number 11. Today, we're going to be talking about how to pivot over panic. Yep, that's right. So stay tuned. After the break, we'll be right back. Hey friends, if you've been enjoying the Owner's Manual podcast, let's stay connected. You can find me on Facebook at LaDonna PM, on Instagram at LaDonna.PM, or on our YouTube channel, LaDonna PM. My mission is to inspire, teach, and create, and I'm sure you'll find all of that and more on our social media platforms. Let's stay connected. So here we are in one of my favorite segments of the Owner's Manual podcast, and that is the soul coaching card of the day. You already know that I consider myself to be your soul coach, right? So it should come as no surprise, as I love to share messages of hope, inspiration, and encouragement. And that's what this time together during our weekly podcast moments are for. This card of the day is brought to you by the Soul Coaching Oracle Guidebook. The author is Denise Lynn, and this card will share a message of encouragement that will help you powerfully and immediately discern the truth of what your soul wants you to know. I find it completely fascinating that each week I intuitively and randomly choose a card that supports the overall soul message for today's podcast journey. And today's card is leadership, which I find goes beautifully with episode 11's topic of pivoting over panic. So today's card meaning is you're a beacon for others. Your skill inspires others to greater heights. It's now time to step into the light and take a leadership role. Your soul wants you to know. A leader stumps the grass down and throws the boulders out of the way so that the path is easier for others. Sometimes you might find yourself alone and tired, but know that what you're doing is making a difference in the lives of many. The greatest leaders are those who know how to serve and act as a stepping stone for others to reach their dreams. Even if you've been in the background in the past, right now it's your turn to step forward and become the light for others. The affirmation for today is, I am a beacon of radiance, support, and love. And so it is. Are you desiring a little bit more gratitude in your life? If you've been following along with my podcast, you'll know that one of the ways that I do this is by journaling. I've created a new journal just for you, available on Amazon. It's called My Love, Peace, and Joy Gratitude Journal. I believe that small seeds of gratitude produce a harvest of hope. So if you're desiring to create more spaces of gratitude in your life, allow this journal to help you achieve that goal. You can find my journal at this shortcut link, bit.ly/LPM books. That's all lowercase. Again, that's bit.ly/LPM books. I hope you enjoy it. Hello, and welcome to episode 11, where we are talking about pivoting over panicking today. That's right. I'm going to share with you an embarrassing story, something that actually happened to me this week, where I learned some valuable lessons on how to pivot my own life towards a sense of peacefulness, calm, mindfulness instead of panic. And so I'm going to be sharing that with you this week. And so the purpose of this episode, as with all the other 11 episodes that you've been listening to over the past weeks, is to create a space of mindful pause for busybody thrivers. That's right. This is the space of pause for you to get tools for your self-discovery overnight bag on the journey of a purpose-filled life. And I know that you'll find that here. So let's get into it. Really, we all know the effect that panicking can cause on our day-to-day lives. It can just shift us into a fight or flight response. It can shift our whole body's equilibrium and put us into a state of unhealthy vibrations. We know that, right? But what some of us may not understand is how to effectively pivot when we find ourselves feeling moments of intense and sheer panic. And there are different extremes to panic. Some of them can lead to panic attacks or reoccurring anxiety that can happen in our lives. But my goal today is to provide you with some tips that I use to help me maintain a healthy, peaceful equilibrium when those thoughts of panic or when those experiences of panic arise. So this week on my blog post, on my website, LaDonnaPM.com, I shared an embarrassing story that I felt like it needed to be shared, but it was in regards to a marketing snafu that I had made earlier. So I was invited to, well, let me take it back. I recently posted on my Facebook page about how inspired I was from watching a show called Black AF on Netflix. It is the creator Kenya Barris, who also made several movies and produced Blackish, Grownish, and Mixedish, I think, other shows on network television. And so this is his show called Black AF. And so on this particular episode, number 5, it's where Tyler Perry shared his perspective on why he makes his movies for a specific audience. And I was so inspired by that because, you know, being a student on this busybody journey of life, I am studying marketing right now and how to effectively get my purpose message out to, my audience and my listeners who want to learn how to, create positive perspectives and mindfulness and, more of that into their daily lives. And so being a student of marketing and understanding how to get that message across. And when I heard Tyler Perry talking about niching down, right? It's basically just a segment of the market that's tailored to a specific audience, right? And so when he talked about how he made his movies for a specific audience, he doesn't care about if anybody doesn't get it because he's speaking the language of his audience. He's speaking their language and they get each other. It was like a giant aha moment. So as you can imagine, when something clicks that I've been studying for a while, and when something clicks, it just makes me feel a sense of accomplishments. Like, wow, I get it. It was just like a light bulb went off. And from that Facebook post that I made, there was a beauty pro educator and author named Mickey Wright who commented and said, hey, these are neat perspectives. Would you be interested in joining a forum in the Beauty Professionals private group on a live that she hosts probably weekly to discuss some of these concepts and why it's important to niche down in marketing? And of course I was like, I've never done that before, but I'm all about getting out of my comfort zone in this season, which is another tool for pivoting out of fear and out of panic. It's just saying yes to opportunities that will help grow you. Okay, not every opportunity is a yes. And so I hope you hear the distinction here. But this was a great opportunity to position me as a leader and an expert in my industry, in the beauty industry, and have a discussion about something that I feel like I'm learning that I could be helpful in teaching to others. So anyway, fast forward, I got the flyer. We set up some time to talk about it. I got the flyer, and the flyer had a picture of the host of the forum, me, and a picture of Tyler Perry, and it had some language on it or whatever. And the words were marketing Tyler Perry style, and a huge picture of Tyler Perry on it, right? Totally wasn't thinking. I got the flyer, immediately posted to my social media networks, right? Because I was so excited, for this incredible opportunity, right? Man, little did I know I was going to be removing all of that like within 10 minutes of me posting it. And so I posted it to every social media network. I'm talking LinkedIn, Facebook, my Facebook personal, the stories, the Instagram, my Facebook business page, my Instagram business page. Okay, hello. And I wrote a blog post about it that I was getting ready to send out to my subscribers on either both my salon page and my LaDonna PM page, because it was a message on, marketing and sharing your gifts, right? Man, I got a call from one of my trusted friends who always has my back. She is so great. She has also been in the beauty industry and has had the opportunity to actually work with Tyler Perry. And she was like, friend, listen, you got to take that flyer down, and here's why. And so we got into a lengthy discussion about, understanding that the message was not targeted and focused to what the actual conversation was about. And further, you cannot use any celebrity's likeness on your flyer while promoting an event. And I know that sounds like a no-brainer, right? But it was just an innocent mistake that provided an excellent example of why context matters in marketing and being able to deliver the right message to your audience. So from the viewpoint of looking at the initial flyer, you would have thought, oh, Tyler Perry is going to be a part of this discussion because his picture was big and prominent on it. And it said marketing Tyler Perry style, as if we had some insider's knowledge on how he markets that he wanted to share with that particular audience, which was not the case. Really, the context behind it was discussing that episode of Black AF and his contribution, although public, made on that show. Although public made on the show, we don't have the right to use and celebrity endorsements without their permission, and that's their right of publicity. And they have control over the commercial use for their name and likeness, and we all have to respect that, right? Coming from that standpoint, I completely understood how this could have turned out so bad. In fact, she told me that he has a personal legal team that actually scouts out situations like this. And, you could be sued for using someone's likeness and your promotion and advertising without permission. And so to me, I thought it was no different initially than a single forward, or just like using someone's as an example to say, hey, they did this, but it didn't provide the proper context. So needless to say, she fixed the flyer. She sent me the new and corrected version and provided some language and context behind while we were discussing what we're discussing. I felt 100,000 times better. But can I tell you that initially I was panicking? I was like, oh my God. I felt like I wanted to hide under a rock. I could not believe I had made that mistake. And my honey was like, it's okay. It's all right. You made the mistake. Now what? And I appreciate, that realist response to certain things, because for real, my personality can be that I will harp on something and harp on it and harp on it. So these lessons in mindfulness, I'm telling you, I'm the first student of them, because I am the type of person that I will keep going back and forth over my mind about, oh my gosh, I wish I hadn't said that, or I wish I hadn't made this mistake, or I wish I hadn't responded in this way. And it's okay, guys, we're human. And so once I felt what I felt, which was embarrassment and a lot of shame, because here I am talking about marketing and making a huge snafu right out of the gate. Can you imagine how embarrassing it was? More embarrassing to my ego, right? Because my ego doesn't want to be reprimanded for doing something that I felt was right. Here I am going out to share this information, and this is a great topic or whatever, but the way that the delivery was made initially was not great. And so, part of being a master at pivoting is learning how to accept responsibility for what is. And what was at the moment was that it was just an innocent mistake and it needed to be corrected. So I was able to pivot from the embarrassment and the panic of shame and to allow myself to create a new message. And from that, I was able to create a blog post, sharing, how to get over, your embarrassment and how to respond to certain things that you may feel like it would be an area of shame. But I was able to use that as a lesson to share with others why clarity of purpose is important. And that blog post has helped a lot of people. And others have commented on it and said, hey, I had a similar incident and this happened to me. And this is how I was able to shift, right? This is how I was able to pivot from those embarrassing moments. And so I felt good about it, knowing that, my embarrassment was a teaching tool and it was helpful for someone else out there. And it also let me know that I'm not alone in this journey, that there are others who may be going through the exact same thing. And that's why on this journey of life, that we're on as busybodies, it's important for us to understand that we are not alone. There's someone else out there that's going through some of the same things that you are. Now, pivoting over panic puts us in a position of strength. It helps us shift our priorities and adjust to what's important in the moment of now. And it helps strengthen our cohesiveness to our inner mission. And in doing so, helps us realize what's valuable, right? What matters the most. It helps us learn how to take leaps in certain instances, like we learned last week with learn, explore, and accept and purpose, taking a leap. It helps us understand what our value is in this moment. And so as such, we have to get creative, right? And thinking as if a lot of people say, think outside the box. And I found myself saying that word this week. But honestly, in this situation, in this world where, things have changed in such a drastic way, the truth of the matter is we have to start thinking as if there is no box. There is no precedence for what we're all going through right now collectively. So as far as I'm concerned, there's no box. So we just have to think as if there is no box and just collectively allow ourselves to come up with solutions that allow us to pivot mindfully over feelings of panic or anxiety or, fear. And so some of the ways that I do this and some of the ways that I have been able to pivot is through mindfulness. And you've heard me talk about this previously on other episodes, and especially on choosing a different response. But mindfulness allows us to, get out of our head so much and the reactionary responses to things, and allows us to be present with where we are, right now and where we are. Even when mistakes happen, okay, right now where I am, I get the opportunity to choose how I want to respond. And sometimes that could be not just operating from a sense of mindfulness in that sense of recognizing where we are, but sometimes it may be helpful to talk it out or talk it through with someone else. During these times where my business has been, shut down for about 30 days, it's been helpful for me to pick up the phone or talk with loved ones or trusted advisors and friends about what I'm going through and what I'm feeling in this moment. And they allow me a space of just honesty to understand that, no, I may not have all the answers at the moment, but I'm working through whatever panic or anxiety that I may be feeling about what's next and focusing on what's now. That's a purposeful pause moment. I don't know if you caught that, but instead of focusing on what's next, sometimes we have to focus on what's now. And so doing that allows us to be present and clear, like I said, about where we are. And it puts us in a position of strength because now we're no longer having to be reactionary, like I said, but we can be proactive so that we can set ourselves up for, if something like this were to happen in the future, would we be ready? I know for a lot of my friends that are business owners, we're talking about that same thing. Like, how can we be prepared and ready for another pandemic or another shift in the way that our economy does business? Or how can we prepare ourselves mentally? How can we prepare ourselves financially? What can we shift and change? What can we implement right now in order for us to be prepared for anything that may come our way? And if we aren't prepared, pivoting puts us in a position to where we are allowed to give ourselves permission to change our priorities, to say, hey, this isn't working for me. Hey, I need to pivot and do things in a different way. Hey, while I'm shut down in my business, maybe I'll come up with some guidelines on how to function. Maybe I'll change the way that I accept money or interact with people. Maybe I'll put things in place to protect my health and well-being. These are all things that we're thinking about now in this changing landscape of how, COVID-19 has shifted the way that we do business and that the way that we exist in our lives. So here are some tips that I use to help me pivot over panic that I'd like to share with you in this episode. And so that involves me adapting a mindfulness practice or involving some mindfulness techniques that I incorporate into my daily practice or into my daily life. And so what exactly is mindfulness? Well, mindfulness is defined as the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. It's also defined as a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, bodily sensations used as a therapeutic technique. And so for me, mindfulness is something that, I incorporate into my daily walk, into my daily journey, and it's helped me so much over just creating like an owner's manual, like toolkit for my own life, right? And so even if it's just mindfulness in the form of meditation. For example, did you know that some of the benefits of meditation is decreasing depression and anxiety, decreasing insomnia, reducing hypertension, and positively affecting brain function? I don't know about you, but that is definitely something that I would love to help build into my self-care regimen to help combat some of that, and especially over feelings of panic or anxiety that may come up. And I'm going to tell you, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just as little as 5 minutes a day can make a world of difference in incorporating this self-care practice of mindfulness into your life. And they say that it takes 21 days to build a habit. And this is, in fact, one of the reasons why I was inspired to write my second book, The Pursuing Purpose 21-Day Devotions to Triumph. And it's a devotional journal that is also a wonderful mindfulness activity to do, which involves journaling. And that devotional journal is available on Amazon right now. And you, my podcast family, you're one of the first people that I was able to share that with. So I feel very grateful to have created something that can be particularly useful in helping us pivot over panic, especially in these times. But yes, meditation, mindfulness, journaling, getting clear with where I am, acceptance of where I am right now, and being empowered and strengthened, knowing that I have the power to choose a different course at any point in time. And so giving yourself permission to feel, right? So I want to share with you a quote that Stephen Covey shared. It says, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies our freedom and our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our happiness." So let me ask you today, what ways in your life can you pivot over panic? What ways can you choose a response that leads to your growth, your strength, and your happiness? What areas in your life can you pivot to put you in a position of ownership of your inner mission and the value that you give to the world? What areas in your life can you pivot into shifting your priorities and just being honest with yourself and saying, hey, this just doesn't work for me anymore? What areas in your life can you pivot by giving yourself permission to live fully and freely in your life's mission and purpose? Because I promise you, the answer is in the room with the question. And so I hope that you were able to gain something wonderful out of this episode, some tips that you're able to use. If you need a little bit more assisted guidance in this practice of mindfulness, if you need just someone to talk to, I'm available. My calendar is open for a discovery call so that you and I can figure out ways to help you shift and pivot into walking in your purpose more effectively. So to book a discovery call with me, all you would need to do is go to my website, LaDonnaPM.com, and click on the Experience tab to take the first step to curating a powerfully intentional life. So in this discovery call, we'll be talking about ways to implement more mindfulness into your daily self-care practice to help you pivot over panic. Hey, you listened to the end, and I'm so glad you did, because guess what? To celebrate making it over 10 episodes of the Owner's Manual podcast, I'm giving you an opportunity to get my latest book, Pursuing Purpose, a 21-day devotional to triumph, absolutely free. That's right. This is my second book, the follow-up to Purpose Pushers. And in this book, I'm taking you on a deeper dive over 21 days on what it means to discover your own unique purpose, walk confidently in it, and triumph in it. So there you have it. All you have to do to get this book is go to bit.ly/LaDonna Inspires to be entered into the raffle giveaway to get this a signed copy of this latest book. I appreciate your presence here so much, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Stay well, peace and blessings, and purposeful living.